Auzubillahi minash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Today I am discussing a very important topic. It is again very important because of the reason that it would be a compulsory question in different exam. The the question is that why Americans were defeated in Afghanistan. So this topic I am discussing with you, and uh, I think that you will not only like it but send likes to me as well, and you will subscribe it as well, and you will send me comments as well so that I can improve my videos. And if you have more knowledge about it, you must share with it. It would contribute in, I mean, in scaffolding my knowledge. I'm really thankful. I would be really thankful for this purpose, and for this, I would start with the first. So the first of all, the first thing was that US strategy was not coherent. They were not knowing what strategy they would adopt. They were confused. Even in that confusion, uh, what they did, that they urinated on the Taliban's, which were killed in some incident, and the US Marines, they peed over them. So uh, first of all, their strategy was not clear, what they have to do and what they have not to do. And then they were not knowing the culture of the Afghans. So this is one of the fact that uh, they, they did not give weightage to the Muslims. They did not understand them. They did not understand the fabric of the Muslim society, and because of that, the hate created against them, and that hate leads to their defeat. The second aspect was the Stellar Wing project, and in the Stellar Wing project, all internet traffic, email, web browsing, all transaction, they were monitored by US. Even the citizen of US were being monitored. In that Stellar Wind project, it was also done that the Muslims who were living over there in US, their houses were searched, and their homes were, I mean, the materials, the things which were they were having, they were confiscated, and they were taken by the US authorities, which was not under the law, but they did that. And for that purpose, the authority to Bush was given, the special powers were given to the Bush, and this was one of the authority. The Stellar Wind project, what it did, that the huge data was collected, the data mining was started, but after, since they were doing it previously as well, and they were not able to, I mean, control the attacks. What was the reason behind it? The reason behind it was that the US agencies, CIA and FBI, they were not having close coordination, and the information available to FBI was not shifted, was not provided to CIA. Because of this, these attacks were happened. And the sharing of information was another fact that it, although it improved, but the data was so much high, so much, I mean, big, that getting information out of it was difficult. States, which were built were not sustainable. For example, the Guantanamo Bay, it was started and a lot of punishments and lot of restrictions were imposed on them, but still the people were against such purpose and they were not sustainable. They were not liked by the even the Americans. So such measures help to or contribute towards the defeat of Americans. The next is the Tora Bora. It was presumed that Osama bin Laden is present in the Tora Bora caves, and the Tora Bora caves were attacked, and I mean, uh, he was not captured in those attacks, and neither he was killed, and he shifted to some other place. But because of this Tora Bora attacks, they were the many bombs and missiles they were thrown at the Taliban. But after that, the return, what the Taliban doing, they were making them insecure. The persistent insecurity severely affected the reconstruction and the efforts of United States to help the common Afghan people and to evade the loss, to evade the defeat. It was not possible because of such measures that they attacked. I could not say that Tora Bora attack was right or wrong, or it was did at the right time. Or if their objectives was not achieved, it was a defeat. Their objective was to kill Osama bin Laden, but the Osama bin Laden safely ran away from those caves and reached somewhere else, and in nearly 2011 he was killed in an attack by the US soldiers at in Aptabad in a house at Aptabad. So this, but the insecurity of the US soldiers, it did not help them to fight against them, and it did not help to reconstruct the infrastructure in Afghanistan. America was already fighting a war in Afghanistan. He opened the second front and he started war with Iraq also. That because of that war was on some other reasons, but the confusion the present in the government of United States, that opening of second front from Afghanistan. First front was in Afghanistan, and he also started war on the second front in Iraq as well. This diverted. They may have won the war in Iraq, but the attention was diverted. The focus was shifted to Iraq war, and because of that the Taliban got the time to, I mean, uh, to help in to ensure the defeat of Americans. If US would not have started Iraq war and he would have focused on the Taliban, he would have focused on the terrorist organizations, then terrorist organization would have defeated, whereas they defeated Iraq, and because of that, the Taliban and the other organization they prevailed. Iraq war was started on lies. The Bush, he himself lied to his nation and to the nations of the whole world. The Rumsfeld, he also lied that the Iraqi people, the Iraqi government, they are having the weapons of mass destruction. They were thinking that the Iraqis have created biological weapons. It was said that Iraqi have created anthrax and a chemical weapon that will be used against the humanity. It will be used against the people, and it might be used against the American as well. And on that pretext, this war was started, and later it was learned that the thesis which was developed for this war was, uh, dependent on undergraduate students' thesis. Undergraduate students write up in his some work. Then again, it was lie that the biological weapons, they were not found, the weapon of mass destruction was not found. The target was only Saddam Hussein, but the people were punished. The chemical weapons were not found over there. This Saddam Hussein was captured and he was hanged, but the people of Iraq, they felt the miseries, and in the same way, the incident like Abu Ghraib prison, where the naked soldiers were lied on one another, and the tomb was of naked soldier was made. The This did not help the US government, and the military personnel were against the they were counterproductive efforts which were against the civilian people. The military efforts were counterproductive uh, against the job done by US soldier uh, to the uh, Iraqi people. So Abu Ghraib is one of such incident which I mean provided which brought shame to the Americans and shame to the world as well. And this did not help the this the winning of the war, but it contributed to the defeat of Americans. The next part was the evaluation and monitoring of the resources of the fund provided to the American. I will give you the example that the US has spent nearly $2 trillion in Afghanistan. Out of that $2 trillion, 80% of those funds was used for the security purpose, uh, while the other 20% which was spent on reconstruction of Afghanistan. I will give one example of G-22 aircrafts, the G222 aircraft. The G222 aircraft were purchased. These aircrafts were not, when they reached in Afghanistan, they were never used as war in war missions. These were not flown for any other reason. And then, after spending some time, after having a zero flights, these aircrafts were, sent and scrapped. This is one example. This also shows that they were not monitoring the funds available to them. They were not evaluating it where those funds are going, but there was also corruption in those funds as well. For example, a base was constructed in Afghanistan, and when After when that space completed, the person who was commanding the troops, he said that I will not use this space for his soldiers, and in that way many of the space that gone to waste. The uniform of Afghan soldier was another issue. The cloth which was used in that, uh, I mean, in the uniform, it was that, and the cloth which was selected and the print which was selected, that was not available in the Americans. What they should in the America, what they should have done, they should have brought some material which would be available in the factories of America. So because of that, because that cloth was not available there, they have to purchase uh, s- uh, some other place. So because of that, the cost of shifting and the cost of fabricating and the cost of stitching, it rose. And the again, the cloth was not suitable for the Afghan soldier as well. And because of that, they have to spend a heavy cost on the uniform of the Afghan soldiers, and they should have used their own brand, their own variety, uh, which could be worn by the Afghan soldier, because they have to select their uniform, because they have to decide what they will wear. When they are deciding it, they should think that that thing should be cost effective and it should not cost high. But at because of the uniform, high amount was spent on on that side. Each of new general in Afghanistan from 2002 to 2011 suggested that the situation he had inherited was dismal. It implied that this was because of his predecessor and he had done wrong and he had used the resources wrongly, or his strategy was wrong, and asserted that now he had resources, strategy, and leadership to deliver a decisive year and decisive effort. This was being thought, this was the thought at that place, at that time. So not only they were indecisive, they were saying that they are corrupt, they are incapable to each other, to one another, to their predecessors. And the second is they did not, I mean, when they were reconstructing, when they were like, for example, I will give you the ground zero aspect. This is the place where the tower, the flight 93 hit the place, hit the tower, and it came down. And uh, on that place, this monument has been made. Whereas some Muslim, they were saying that building a mosque would be a good feature, uh, uh, in the good effort in that direction. So that was to appease the Muslim, to appease the Taliban's, to appease the terrorists which are against the US government. The construction of mosque over there, I think, would have a better impact in that direction. I could not say, but they have built that monument. Uh, and the important aspect I want to highlight is that uh, their thinking was not unitary. Their thinking was different. They were thinking, each of them was thinking differently, and they were saying that the other one is wrong. If this monument is accepted by all of them, it is good. But if someone is saying that construct, uh, I mean, the uh, one thing over here and the other saying is saying that construct the second thing over here, then this is dichotomy. This will lead to confusion and this will lead to defeat as well. And in that case, this happened that US was defeated. It was said that poppy is being used uh, as an economy for fighting the war. The Taliban's are using the earning from poppy and they are, I mean, fighting with this. But after spending nearly, I mean, 10 years over there, or more than 20 years over there, rather. After spending 20 years over there, the growing poppy has not finished in that in the Afghanistan. So, I mean, if you were finishing poppy, then that has not that your that objective has not been achieved. Your objective of reconstruction of Afghanistan has not achieved. Your I mean objective of, I mean, teaching lesson to the Taliban has not achieved, and Taliban have come with the more power and they are now more powerful than the previous. So your objective are of disseminating or decimating the Taliban has not achieved. When your objective of not have not achieved, we can say that it is a defeat, and the causes of defeat have been deliberated in length. I would request you that you must, I mean, read it, read about it, and comment, send comments to me. I would be really grateful and I would be really thankful to you. Thank you very much.